radical groups like the Muslim Brotherhood. Our nuclear arsenal has been decimated. So Obama's been doing all this, and it all hasn't been happening by accident. He's trying to do it, and that's how it's happening.
Well, he obviously has a team that believes in his agenda, and so who's behind him? Who is the actual thinker? And the reason I ask that question, Dinesh, is when Obamacare came out, it just appeared and it was totally written, and I've yet to find out who actually put those words on those pieces of paper that came up with Obamacare. It certainly wasn't him.
Right. He has, remember the White House, I worked in the White House under Reagan. There are hundreds of people that work there. He's got a big team that's hired to do his bidding, tons of lobbyists and lawyers and executives and so on. And these are guys who all follow Obama's tune. Look, where does Obama get all this stuff? I don't think that somebody else is calling the shots. I think that from a young age, starting with his radical anti-American father, his leftist mother, and then throughout his life, Obama sought out mentors. The communist Frank Marshall Davis in Hawaii, a Palestinian radical at Columbia, a Brazilian socialist at Harvard. We know about the domestic terrorist Bill Ayers. Jeremiah Wright, the incendiary pastor whose signature phrase is "Goddamn America." These are people, Obama didn't bump into them. He chose them carefully because they resembled his father, and he put himself at their feet and was sort of tutored and mentored and was buddies with them, not over a year or two, but over many decades.
Well, then, therefore, he's more than just what we would consider an average liberal. This guy seems to be a socialist.
Never before have we had a president mentored by a card-carrying member of the Communist Party. Never before do we have a president who's got a close association. When we talk about Bill Ayers, Obama and he served together on the board of the Woods Fund. They were with the Annenberg Challenge together. They've known each other since 1995, so for 15 years. And this is a guy who essentially has in common with Osama bin Laden that he attempted to blow up the Pentagon.
Wow. So how is he using debt to bring about his means or his ends?
Well, Obama would like to see a massive transfer of wealth away from America and toward the developing countries. Now, normally you'd say, well, let's do it through foreign aid, but there's absolutely no way that Congress, even a Democratic Congress, would vote hundreds of billions of dollars in foreign aid to go to other countries. So Obama knows that. He's got to do it a different way, and he's figured out a way, and the way is debt. It's kind of beautiful in a way. He's using our debt to settle a kind of anti-colonial debt. Well, how does he do it? He just sticks the bill by accumulating debt, and the debt has to be paid off by our children and grandchildren. And it's paid off to whom? Well, some of it goes to Americans, but a lot of it goes to Kuwaitis and Saudis and Chinese. So what a beautiful way to transfer large amounts of wealth away from this country and toward other countries.
Wow. What will happen if he's reelected? It seems like now he's in a dictator position. He'll have no restrictions if he gets reelected, wouldn't you think?
Well, none. If the Republicans control the House and maybe the Senate, they will be able to block some of the things that he's doing. But in foreign policy, they won't. Obama remains the commander-in-chief. He also has an amazing habit of not enforcing laws he doesn't like. So when it comes to the Defense of Marriage Act, look, whatever you think about that, the fact is it was passed by both houses of Congress, signed into law by President Clinton. Obama's taken an oath to uphold the law, but he just goes, no, I don't really think that that's constitutional. I won't be enforcing that law. Immigration, well, I like these parts of the law, but I don't like these. I'm just not going to be enforcing them. So we've got a sort of shocking abrogation of law on the part of this president. If there are laws he wants passed that Congress won't pass, he tries to get the same effect through regulation. He's got a multitude of czars. What are we, Russia? Right. He's got all these czars carrying, they're in a sense cabinet level people, but they don't answer to anybody except Obama.
So is this abuse of powers?
Well, it's certainly arrogance of power, right? And you see this in Obama. He's clearly a guy who thinks the world of himself. A true legend in his own mind. But look, a lot of people agree with that, right? They're entranced with Obama. And why? I actually don't think it's just Obama. Obama, in a way, represents America's racial redemption. He sort of offers Americans, white Americans, a automatic racial absolution certificate. And so I think you've got all these liberals, and the reason they support Obama so wildly and uncritically is because they're really patting themselves on the back to say what morally wonderful people they are by voting for Obama or supporting him.
Doesn't it concern you, the president obviously doing a lot of things that just so anti-American, but hey, we put him in the office. Isn't the problem us?
No, because Obama didn't let on who he was. I mean, listen to Obama's 2004 speech at the Democratic Convention. That speech was so conservative, if I can use that term, that he could have given that same speech at the Republican Convention for get thunderous applause. He claimed to be a unifier. He claimed to be someone who'd bring people together. He said, look, you may not agree with me, but I'll listen to what you have to say. And really, if you look at Obama today, that's a different guy. So how did Obama 1 become Obama 2? And my answer to that is there never was an Obama 1. Obama 1 was a manufactured public image from the start. And so America voted its best instincts with this guy, but America was fooled. And the real question is, will it happen again?
Well, we were fooled because we didn't vet him. And we vetted more with Paul Ryan in the last 48, 74 hours than we did with President Obama leading for the year up to the election.
You know, when we were researching our film in Indonesia and Hawaii, we'd meet these guys, and they're close to Obama. They knew the dad. They were Obama's mother's thesis advisor, people who knew young Obama in his formative years, relatives of Obama. And I'd ask these guys, I'd say, you know, well, when was the last time you were interviewed? And they'd say, well, never. You're the first guy who's been down here. So I'm thinking, wow, this is the biggest story in the country. And even now, 4 years into his presidency, I mean, it's one thing Obama was unknown in 2008, but now? So there's a scandalous, I would say, abrogation of duty on the part of key people in the media. And I don't think it's just negligence. They're actually covering for Obama. Every time there's damaging information about Obama, literally they jump on it like they're trying to put out a fire. And so in a sense, we're in a very kind of odd moment in our democracy where the normal process of looking critically at someone is not happening. This is not just the liberal media. The same liberal media was pretty tough on Clinton, was pretty tough on Carter, but has sort of lost its critical perspective when it comes to this particular guy.
All right. Now, so what did Chief Justice Roberts' decision on Obamacare do to strengthen the presidency or the president?
Well, you know, it's hard to say what Roberts' motivation was. He might have been sort of thinking, look, I don't want the court to appear to be jumping into the middle of a partisan fight. The American people voted for Obama, and so they have the right, as the decision in fact said, to make stupid decisions. I don't think Roberts thinks the law is a smart idea. He just doesn't think it's the court's job to strike it down, as he put it, protect the people from their own choices. But I think with Obama, the issue here with healthcare isn't just a matter of social insurance or even health insurance. Part of what Obama's philosophy is that, look, we Americans have 5% of the world's population, but we're using 25% of the world's stuff. We eat 25% of the world's food. We use 25% of the world's oil and other resources and minerals. We use more than 25% of the world's health care. So I think what Obama's trying to do is shrink America's consumption. Less food, less clothing, less oil, less health care. That's really what this health care thing is all about. It isn't just a matter of guy doesn't have health insurance, doesn't feel like buying it, Obama's going to force him to get it. By itself, that would be almost too silly a thing for him to attempt. He's attempting something that's actually more complex.
You write in the book about the United States of Islam and what would be an American president encouragement to realignment of the Middle East. Explain that.
Well, think about that phrase, the United States of Islam.
It scares me to death.
Well, it's the whole Middle East, right? Unified under a single caliphate. Now, this was the dream of the radical Muslims in 1928. That's the year that the Muslim Brotherhood was officially founded, right. And it's the largest organization of radical Islam in the world. Now, they've never been able to achieve that dream. The radical Muslims grabbed Iran in 1979, in part thanks to the incompetence of Jimmy Carter, but they couldn't export that revolution. For years, it was only Iran that was in that orbit. But now it's Egypt. Egypt is a very important country, and the Muslim Brotherhood is basically tightening its tentacles around Egypt.
Wow.
If the radicals get Egypt, then there's only one major country left, and that's Saudi Arabia. So that, it seems to me, maybe Obama's has it next in his sights, which is to force an election in Saudi Arabia between the royal family on the one hand and the Muslim Brotherhood on the other, an election that is almost certain to result in the defeat of the royal family and the rise to power of the Brotherhood, and that would put the radical Muslims within sights of achieving their goal, which is Islam to restored after 5 centuries as a global power.
Dinesh, with a few moments I have left, do you think the American people are waking up or have woken up to this president, and how you see the ticket now on the Republican side? Do you think that's a winning ticket?
I think the Republican side has been strengthened with Ryan. I do think that this election should be about Obama. You like him, vote for him. You think he's the wrong guy, there's a perfectly competent alternative. I think that people also know that Obama isn't quite what he made himself out to be 4 years ago. So there's a wall of anxiety about him, a willingness and a real hunger. I mean, one reason our film has been doing so well, this is 2016, is because people feel like, I want to learn more about who this guy really is. 4 years later, I still don't feel like I know him. And it's right. He's perhaps the most unknown guy to occupy the White House in certainly recent presidential history.
All right. So where can people get more about the film?
Well, you should go to the website. It's 2016themovie.com. The film is expanding to hundreds of theaters this month, and so it's going to be playing someplace near you. Also, get my book, which is just called Obama's America.
Right.
And the book actually goes way beyond the film. It lays out in sort of systematic detail in energy, in taxes, in foreign policy, in nuclear weapons, in the Middle East. Where is America going to be in 4 years if Obama gets another term?
Thank you for your work, your passion, and the long hours that you and your staff to put in to get this material out in the movie. Can't wait till it's in more theaters, and it should be expanding fairly soon.
Yes, it expands this Friday to a new bunch of theaters, and then next Friday to several hundred more. So there's a kind of a ramping up. So by the time of the conventions at the end of this month, and really by the time most Americans start paying attention to politics, which is in September, the film will be everywhere.
Okay. Dinesh, thank you. God bless you, my friend. Keep up the good work. You remain in our prayers, and we look forward to having you back real soon.
Thanks very much.
All right.